Hey, welcome to the program. This is episode number 4. So we don't suck. We know that much. And we're having more and more people share the show, more and more people liking the show, subscribing to the show. So that's one thing that that I can encourage. If I can encourage you to do anything, if you're watching on YouTube, like us, subscribe to us, or any other listening platform or viewing platform, because ultimately you hear that a lot on podcasts. The reason why we do that is because the nerds that give us these platforms, they track that stuff, and then ultimately we might get paid for it in the end. Big thanks to our title sponsor, Party Drinks. If you're looking for an alternative, something other than beer and something than other the tired seltzers you've been drinking on the golf course, Party is the drink for you. We are closing in on everybody else. If you want something that's delicious, refreshing, surprisingly strong, and smooth, Party is for you. For a list of the different places that sell it, check us out online, drinkparty.com. And a big thanks to our golf real estate pros. If you're looking to buy a house in a golf community, on a golf course, or if you're looking to sell as well, nobody better than the real estate team of Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh, suncoastdreams.com. That's a division of Fine Properties. Check it out, suncoastdreams.com, 941-220-4000. Your top producing golf course and luxury property realty team with Fine Properties in Southwest Florida. Okay, that's the stuff we got to just, kind of put out there because we got to pay the bills. But if there's one guy that comes with a lot of ramp up, we've been told this guy is Mr. Entertainer. Here he is, Jordan Miller. What's going on, Jordan? Welcome to the program.
Oh, we're just hanging in there. I appreciate you guys having me.
Well, it's great to have you because you are, I think you're everything that we aspire to be here at Party. We play golf. We're into golf. We're pretty good at it. We love to fish. But you do both professionally. Let me ask you today, did you hunt, fish, or golf, or all the above?
No, today was an actual working day. I had to go work on some stuff on the boat and get ready for tomorrow. I've got a trip tomorrow, so had to put in some elbow grease today.
Yep, big trip. You know what? Today would have been a tough day as well. This was the coldest day. So it's Tuesday after Thanksgiving. The weather bug said it was 61 degrees. I'm calling BS on that. Not even close. Today it would have been a tough day if you had to take some clients out on the charter boat, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's this time of year. It can be really good and it can be really tough fishing. Just with, the first couple of days after a cold front makes it difficult, especially when it drops. I think it dropped from high 70s to in the 50s overnight. And when it drops like that, the fish are moving. Some fish shut down, some fish turn on, and it's just it's kind of a trip where you go throw it at the wall and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, and fish, they're kind of like weathermen too. They know that the weather system is coming in because their bladders and everything. When low pressure's coming in, they know it, and they feed before the cold front.
Oh yeah,
but then the cold front comes through and they shut it down.
Yeah. Actually, grouper fishing is pretty hot right now. They just closed the season on us early, but gag grouper, they're a fish that when you get them a day or two before a front's coming and they get that high pressure system moving in, it's like shooting fish.
Jordan, where did you grow up?
I grew up right here in Bradenton. Played golf at Braden Country Club and fished all around here, riding my bike around and figuring out where we could go fish the next spot.
What's your first love? Is it golf or is it fishing, or is that's the impossible question? That's like asking a parent their favorite child.
Yeah, man, that's a tough question. So my dad didn't really he didn't play golf at all, really. When I was growing up, so he was more of taking us fishing. My grandpa and my uncle both played. They were good golfers. My uncle played in college, and they kind of were the ones that got me and my brother started in golf. So it was just kind of a different atmosphere for both of them. You know, being with my dad fishing for one, and then spending time with my uncle and my grandpa for the golf side of it. So it was cool. We got a lot of family time.
Yeah. Bradenton Country Club. Can I assume that you've played a lot of golf with Tony Jacklin and Sean Jacklin as well?
Yeah. So Sean, growing up, Sean was one of my good friends, and he went to a different high school that I did, and we were actually kind of rivals with that other school. So we had some pretty good and intense matches between us and their school, and between me and him.
When did you know that you were a good golfer, that you could maybe do something and play professionally?
You know, when I was playing junior golf, early stages of junior golf, I was a tall kid when I was, you know, 5 to 8, 9, 10 years old. And it was just kind of, we played the forward tees, and I would always almost drive it on the green every hole, just because I was almost a foot taller than the kids I was playing against. But then once I got to like 13 or 14 and started playing on the Florida Junior Tour pretty regularly, and competing with them and doing well, that's when I was kind of like, you know, let's see where this goes in college. And it was definitely something I wanted to go through. And then as I got further and further towards college, I was like, well, maybe I just play after college too and see how it goes. And then I had, when I turned 18, my senior year in high school, I had a great year playing golf in high school, and, you know, playing on the junior tours. I was second in the state, and I think I had like 6 or 7 wins my senior year on the Florida Junior Tour. So,
oh wow, yeah,
and I want to say my scoring average was like just over 69 for that whole year. And I'd kicked the idea around of not going to school and just playing professionally straight out of high school, because I was playing so well. And my mom kept drilling it into me that I had to go to college, had to get a degree. So I ended up going down to Florida Gulf Coast, and I don't regret going down there one bit. You know, it was a great school. Met some really good friends down there that I still keep in touch with on and off the golf team. So it was enjoyable. But
were there other options too, in addition to Florida Gulf Coast?
Yeah. So actually, my junior year, I think it was my spring semester of my junior year in high school. I verbally committed to go to UNC and
North Carolina.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then my senior summer, I get an email saying that coach is leaving. The new coach that's coming in, there was me and 3 other recruits coming in for the 2013-2014 season, and got an email saying that myself and the 3 others were no longer going to the school, and the new coach coming in was bringing his own players. So that threw a big wrench in the things with, you know, one more year of school, and kind of threw a panic, you know, with myself and my family trying to figure out where to go and what to do. Because at that point, I was, you know, I wasn't really responding to emails, wasn't answering phone calls or anything like that, just because I didn't need to, had a place to go, and that's where I was set on going. Yeah. So, and then it finally, UNF, the University of North Florida coach, I got to be real good friends with him over the years, him coming and watching golf tournaments. And we emailed back a lot of phone calls. And then I'll never forget it. I had a Florida Junior Tour event at Brooksville, and we had talked on the phone, and he was like, all right, well, let's see how, this tournament goes. I think I had 2 more tournaments for the end of that season. And went up there and shot 71-65 and won the tournament. And didn't hear anything back from him after the tournament. And
wow, did you think that was like, boy, if that doesn't convince him that I should be on this team?
Yeah, that's what I was. So I was almost more excited about kind of securing my spot with him than I was winning the tournament. And he just, I gave him, I called him the Tuesday after the tournament, left him a voicemail, sent him an email, nothing for
he ghosted you.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. And it's funny because we're still friends. We still talk. Like, he'll come down and fish with me a couple times a year. And but in that time, I had Edward Figueroa. He plays professionally still down in Latin America, and he was a year in front of me down there at Florida Gulf Coast. And he was telling the coach down there, he was like, "You got to look at this. You got to look at this kid. He's a good golfer, and I know he'll put in the work."
Do you feel like in the end you ended up exactly where you should have been all along?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If those things wouldn't have happened, who knows where I'd be now,
Exactly. Yeah. That's like the arc of life where it, like, if one thing changes order, everything changes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I'm not complaining where I'm at all. Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you broke 80?
No, we were about a year ago. I was sitting there with my grandpa having a conversation about that, and he asked me that same question. And we were trying to think about it because him and my grandma would take me to all my tournaments, and we couldn't come up with it because you play from the forward tees for so long, and then you gradually move back, and we couldn't figure out, when I got to the back tees when the first time I actually shot it was. But I'm guessing I was somewhere around 11 to 13.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like most good players. What's the lowest round you ever shot in your life? It could be a social round, competitive round.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I've shot 63 times, and it's the first time was cool because that was the lowest I'd shot before that was 62, and the second 2 times were a little frustrating because I had 3 holes left both times. All I had to do was just make one more birdie to get to 59, and I didn't cross that bridge, but it was close. It was fun though.
Yeah, you had good looks at it, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When did you first tee it up on the West Florida Golf Tour? You remember that?
Let's see. It would have been the 2017 season.
Right. So you're right out of college.
Yeah. So I was right out of college. Actually, I think the first tournament was just a few weeks after the end of my junior year.
How'd you do? How'd you feel teeing it up as a pro for the first time? Was it any different?
It was a little nerve-wracking on the first tee, obviously, because it's a new chapter in your life, and you want to go out there and obviously perform as well as you can. But it was a little relieving because I knew a lot of the guys that played on the West Florida Tour. I played a decent amount of West Florida events as an amateur when I was in high school too. So I knew Christian real well.
Christian Bartolacci, the commissioner.
Yeah. And then I knew, I don't know, maybe a dozen to 15 players that were already playing on there. And I got fortunate. I got paired with a couple of them my first round. So it was a nice ease into professional golf for sure.
How many times did you win as a pro?
It's got to be 20 plus times.
Tell me about the first time, because it's got to start there. and just the feeling and what that did for you.
So the first time I won, I was in Port Charlotte playing down there. And I had a guy caddying for me at the time that I knew. He was actually a kart guy at Braden Country Club, and we would go play. He would get done working his shift, and we would go play 9 holes out there when he was done. So he knew my game real well. He'd been on the bag that whole summer, and we had been close probably 2 or 3 times to pulling it off, and just missed the mark a couple of times by 1 shot, and the other time was just a few shots. And we I want to say the first round I was in first by a shot or two, and we went out the next day, and we were just good. We had come up with a game plan. We were going to come out aggressive, and we were going to just fire at everything that, when we were in the fairway, fired everything that was on the green, and get as close as we can and make as many birdies as possible. And the front 9, birdied 9 to shoot 1 under. And Christian was doing, which I believe he still does, the 9-hole scoring after. So we stopped there at 9, told him our scores, hit our tee shots on 10, and then my caddy checked his phone and was looking at the leaderboard. Mm-hmm. And there was like 2 guys, I want to say, that shot 3 under on the front, which put them a couple ahead of me. And Daniel Chopra was one of them. And that made it a little nerve wracking because, he's been on tour. He plays on the Corn Ferry Tour. He's a big name. And for your first win to come up against, somebody like that was pretty cool too. But we saw the score right into the second shots on hole 10. Ended up birdieing 10, 11, 12, parred 13, eagled 14, birdied 15, and parred 16, chipped in for birdie on 17, and 2 putted for par on 18 to shoot 64. And we got done, and I looked at him and I said, you know what, if I lose this one, they deserve it. I gave it everything I've got. And if we go down, we went down swinging. And we went in there, and he had the leaderboard going on the TV. And I saw Chopra ended up at 67. And I was like, finally we got over the bridge.
I'm hearing it in your voice, man. It's like you're reliving it. You're like getting emotional about it.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. We still, every time, so we'll go play golf. Me and my caddy will go play golf a little bit, but mostly when we get together now, we go fish and do some offshore trips. But we still talk about it to this day.
Yeah, because that springboarded you to so many more, and then you got to get the first one before you can get the second. And that's a great story. I love you making yourself vulnerable, because I feel like I was with you there, and I'm sure. What's your caddy's name?
Bobby French was his name.
Okay, he's going to be watching this, right? You're going to share this with him, aren't you?
Yeah, and that man, I don't know how he did it that summer. So he works for the sheriff's department, and he would work a 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. shift, wouldn't even go home, sleep or anything. He would come drive to whatever golf course I was playing. And some of them were even up in Brooksville and down in Fort Myers. He'd come, he'd caddy for me, and he'd go on the computer the night before, go on Google Earth and make his own yardage book.
Oh, come on. What a guy he is. Is
he put in some effort for that, and it was cool.
What a friend to have, huh?
Yeah,
you treasure cool him, don't you?
Yeah, and it was fun to see that he enjoyed it as much as I did, because he could have just gone out there and
just not carry the bag.
Just carry the bag.
I'm tired. Sorry, Jordan. I'm just carrying the bag. Do your own yardage.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great stuff. So you got any wild stories about life? You have to, right? So this is on the internet. You can get as wild as you want. Just make us laugh. Something that says, "Holy smokes!" That's
what are we going for here? Are we going for a fishing story?
No. Mini tour like golf, and then we'll get into fishing stories.
Oh man,
yeah, because I want to cross that bridge. Yeah, tell me a great story just from life on the road on the mini tours.
We were playing a tournament in Cincinnati, and we there was 2 or 3 of us going, and we had everything ready to go. We're flying out of Sarasota here, flying up to O'Hare, and we were gonna fly from O'Hare to the Cincinnati airport, and we decided not to because our layover was like a 6-hour layover, and we were like, we can go there and drive and hit some balls and stuff before it gets dark instead of flying there and playing the next day. So we get there, we get to the airport, check everything in, fly up there.
Who you with? I want to know.
I was with Chris Kennedy, but I can't remember who the other one was. He was one of Chris's buddies. It wasn't mine. Or no, I don't think he was one of my buddies. Mm-hmm. And we got up there and we're waiting for our bags. He goes to go get the rental car. We were sitting there waiting for our clubs to fall straight down the chute and come down the conveyor belt there to us. And they never show up. And we're sitting there, and he comes back, and I was like, dude, our clubs aren't here. I was like, I've got my bag with my clothes in it. You've got your bag. We don't have any golf clubs. I was like, it's going to be hard to play a golf tournament with no golf clubs. So we sat there. We went to the people where you lose your bag. Went and talked to them. They found out that our bags had never left the Sarasota airport, and we ended up driving all the way over to Cincinnati, got our clubs probably 3 or 4 hours before our tournament started. Didn't get to play a practice round, anything. We went out there just based off the yardage book. We walked the course a couple of times and did our normal routine with the yardage book, lasering stuff and everything. Since that's one thing they did let us use in that tournament, and the people at the clubhouse were nice enough to let us borrow one. They gave us a rangefinder so we could go out there and at least get that done. But it was.
How did it end?
We all made the cut and played pretty good, so it was decent after what we all went through. But yeah, it was just that was probably the most nerve-wracking experience I've had playing golf, besides you coming down the last 9 holes and having to play good golf.
Yeah. You talked about your friendship with Sean Jacklin earlier. Michael Visacki.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell me about that relationship, and ultimately, I want to get to when he Monday qualified into the PGA Tour event and called his dad and was in tears. Yeah.
So I've known Visacki since we were 5 or 6 years old. We played in the Greater Sarasota Junior Golf Tour, and we were the top 2 players in that tour. So we were always playing together, whether it was the first round, the second round, we were always playing together. So we've become pretty good friends, over the years, especially when we got to playing professional golf together, because we would travel together all over. We would go out to Iowa and play the stretch out there in Iowa, travel all to the West Florida events. We did a bunch of Monday qualifiers for the tour events, Korn Ferry and PGA Tour.
Just 2 guys piled in a car, same hotel room, going as cheap as you can, right?
Yep. That's all it was. We were trying to get there and spend as less money as we could.
Yeah. So when he broke through and won, I saw the video everybody else did going viral.
Yeah.
Were you crying too?
I was just so excited for him, because he was I had stopped playing at that point full time, and that's ultimately what we're searching for out there. That's what, as a mini tour player, that's what you strive for every week in and week out playing. And when he finally did it, I mean, it was almost like I had done it. I was so happy for him, and for him just to get the opportunities to play in that and get to that level. I mean, you got to think about all the guys that make it to the PGA Tour, have a chance to play on the PGA Tour, and out of all the guys that play mini tour golf and even on the Korn Ferry Tour, it's a slim number.
Oh, it's so small. It's a hard life too, right?
Yeah. It's being on the road and traveling like that for as many weeks as we did out of the year. It's tough. You got to be prepared for that, mentally prepared for it, because it's, you don't have your family there to help you out if you run into anything.
Right. Money's tight. All the above, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When did you stop playing? When did you say maybe it's time to consider doing something else? Because you were running some charters and playing professionally at the same time.
Yep. Yeah.
How did you do that? I mean, that seems like a ton of stuff. Walk me through that.
I didn't have a very hard schedule that I was playing that at that time period that I was playing and running charters. I would just playing an event here and there, just to kind of keep playing and make money on the side to kind of keep the dream going. And I stopped playing professionally when in 2020, like right as COVID was starting. I'd signed up for the Canadian Tour Q School that year. And obviously it kept getting pushed back with COVID and the travel restrictions and everything. And it finally got to the point where they basically told all of us down here in the States that, you guys aren't essential workers, so you guys can't cross the border and come up here and play. And that's when I was kind of like, I'm getting enough charters to where it's worth it, and turning some down on days that I have tournaments and everything. And, I love going out there and competing and playing golf, but it's also nice when people step on your boat and you make money instead of spend money to go make money.
Yeah, I got it. It's amazing how COVID became a tipping point for a lot of us. For me, in my life, like I worked on TV. That was the dream.
Yeah.
And then COVID took that away from me, but maybe that was the push that got us to where we are.
Yeah.
Back when you were doing both, did you ever have a time where the fishing was so good and you're like, I'm getting up against a tee time, I got to start heading in? Or did you ever miss one because you were fishing?
No. So my tournament days, that was all I did. I just went and played the tournaments, but I would, when I was practicing leading up to it, I'd go run a charter in the morning and then go practice after in the afternoon till it got dark. But it was a lot. That's for sure. It was, it's nowadays I wake up at 5, go run a charter, get done at 12 to 2 o'clock. And I'm like, I'm beat. I'll go take a nap. But it was nuts back then doing that all in one day. It's a lot.
Yeah, I bet. Jordan Miller is our guest today. Big thanks to him for information. If you want to take a fishing charter, it's been scrolling across the bottom. Get in touch with him at 941-932-1403. Instagram, Captain Jordan _Miller. That's how you can get in touch with him. And a big thanks to our title sponsor, Party Drinks, for a list of the different places where it's sold around you. Log on to the internet, drinkparty.com. I'll give you just a couple because I want to give big thanks to the people that make this all possible. Esplanade Azario, Misty Creek Country Club, Rosedale Country Club, Bent Creek Country Club, about to get back on board. Preserve Golf Club, the Links at Greenfield Plantation, 7-Eleven, State Road 64 and Lorraine Road in Bradenton, Lucky Mobile, State Road 64, right near I-75, across the street from the links at Greenfield Plantation. Swordfish Grill on Siesta Key, Crescent Beach Market, and Cove Cay Marina in Clearwater. So, Jordan, are you really done with pro golf? Is there any chance you get back on board?
That's a tough question. I mean, I would like to, because I'm, the competitive mindset's still there. I got my amateur status back a few years ago, and still play in some amateur events, but it's almost more relaxing playing in those amateur events, because you can go out there. A lot of the team events are what we're playing in, so you go out there and have fun with one of your buddies, and if you go out there and don't play so good, it's not going to hurt your wallet. But I mean, to say that I've completely given up on the idea, that definitely hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to play in some of the one-day West Florida events as an amateur and see what happens and see how it goes, and we'll go from there. But no, it's definitely still on the table, but we'll see. And
how is the game?
It's good. I actually just played in the City of Bradenton Amateur over at River Run. What was that? 3 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Won that, and that's the back-to-back years that I've won it.
What'd you shoot?
67, 68.
Oh, okay. You still got it, bro.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah. Is it more fun though because the pressure's off because you're playing because you want to? Is there more love?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I still want to go out there and play well and win. So there's still that side of it. You still kick yourself when you make some mistakes or miss a 3-foot putt. But at the end of the day, if I go shoot 72 to 75, it's not going to ruin the rest of my day like it would. Playing professional golf, you sit there and think about, well, if I could have done this or if I could have done that, it would have gone from that to a 68.
Right. You could leave it on the course. Like when it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
You move on. Jordan, I think we're all done. Hey man, I really appreciate you joining us. For folks to get in contact with you, how do they do it?
Like you mentioned earlier, just my phone number, or go on Instagram or Facebook, and my phone number's on both of those. And you can just message me on there too. But other than that, that's it. Pretty plain and simple, easy to reach.
Yeah. Hey, Jordan, always a good time. Let's go fishing and let's play golf. All right.
Absolutely. We might have to find a little bit warmer of a day to go, but we'll make it happen. It's
Florida. The warm weather's coming back eventually.
Absolutely.
Jordan, really appreciate it. Hey, and a big thanks to our title sponsor, Party Drinks. Again, for a list of the different places where it's available, log on to our website at drinkparty.com. Also, big thanks to the golf real estate pros, the dream team of Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh at suncoastdreams.com. This is a division of Fine Properties. If you're looking for a house, a golf property, or if you have a house and you want to sell it, they are absolutely the best. Your top producing golf course and luxury property realtor team with Fine Properties in Southwest Florida. For Jordan Miller, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on Party Time.
You've been listening to Party Time, chasing it on the West Florida Golf Tour. For more information about where Party is available, go to drinkparty.com. And if your dream is to live on a golf course in Southwest Florida, check out their golf realtor specialists, Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro, at suncoastdreams.com.